Welcome to the Lead with Hope podcast. I'm your host, Brandy Kelly. This is the podcast where you will learn to lead with hope. I love hearing impactful stories from people across the country. I believe these stories will help in your personal and professional growth as you strive to lead with hope. Hit subscribe and share your favorite episode with a colleague. Now I am honored to introduce my friend, Lori Putnam. Lori grew up in Central Illinois, and she spent the first chapter of her professional life in education. She taught first grade, second grade, and was also a Title I reading teacher. Following teaching, Lori transitioned into full-time ministry at a local church in Decatur, Illinois. She served on staff for nearly 17 years in children's ministry, family ministry, connections, and senior leadership. In November of 2021, Lori joined Grand Canyon University as a university development counselor. And most recently, Lori's been promoted to University Development Manager and works with a team of counselors in Southern Illinois and Northern Indiana. Lori also loves spending time with her family, watching movies, and supporting her son Wade in travel baseball, golf, and playing the drums. Welcome to the podcast, Lori.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to be here. It's nice to see your face. It's been a while.
It's been a while. And just a little backstory, Lori and I met when I was principal at McGoy Elementary School, where I had the honor of serving as Wade's principal.
Yes. Yeah.
So that
seems
was
like yesterday.
I know, it goes so fast. And that was the first time I met Lori. And Lori, I have to share, I think the first time I met you, I came out the doors of McGoy Elementary, and you were standing there under the pavilion praying for our school.
Oh,
that's what I remember. And from that moment on, I valued your friendship and your support of education. And now I am so honored to bring you on the show and to allow the listeners to hear a little bit more about who you are, what's your story, what really fuels your passion.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It is great to get to be here and spend a little time with you in this capacity. You read my bio, so that's a really good synopsis. But what I would say is throughout my professional career, I've always been interested in leadership. I've always been drawn to leadership, and I always seem to find myself in leadership positions. So now that I'm working for Grand Canyon University, I get to lead a team, which I absolutely love doing that. I love just supporting people, encouraging them, helping them be the best that they can be while we strive together towards a common goal. And so the other piece that I would say that kind of has been a constant throughout my professional life, and even personal life, has been I've always been drawn to women in leadership. I have been blessed to have a lot of amazing, strong women in my life, and I have sought them out professionally for support, for encouragement, for direction, for a sounding board, that kind of thing. And I would say that in my role with Grand Canyon University, I have a unique position to interact with women in leadership in different ways now. So I'm interacting with classroom teachers, people that want to be classroom teachers, as well as principals, superintendents, HR, special ed directors, all kinds of people like that. And I just find myself drawn to the women. And I think part of that is because I have learned that being a woman in leadership can be a very lonely space.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's hard to find support, really good support of other women. And so anytime I can do that, I guess I would say I feel compelled to do that. So going back to our story, how we met, I just was drawn to you because you were new to the community. You were new to the leadership position, and I just really appreciated all your hard work, and I just wanted you to know that. So it was, my pleasure to become a friend, and also cheer you on as a parent in this school, because I know it is lonely sometimes when you're the one making the decisions. You're the one that has to deliver decisions that have already been made to people that may or may not really want to hear it. And so anyway, I would just say that's been kind of a common theme throughout my professional career. So kind of ties into you and I and how we met, kind of where I am. So as you said in my bio, I started out in education. I loved teaching when I was in it. I think I was a good teacher, but I always kind of knew there were other things I wanted to do. I didn't really know what they were. But to be honest, I never saw myself like teaching second grade for 25 years and then retiring. I just kind of knew there were other things I wanted to do. So that time came when I wasn't really sure what was next, but I knew I needed a change. So I left my teaching career. And what happened was God opened up a path for me to end up actually in ministry. The other thing about that was I had always served in the church. I grew up in a home where I watched my parents serve joyfully in every local church we ever lived, in whatever town we ever lived in. My family moved around a little bit when I was growing up. And so I learned what it was like to be new. And every new town we moved to, the first thing we always did was find a church. That's just the way our family was. That's where we found our community. And I watched my parents serve, and they served with joy. So that was my example growing up. I didn't really see women in leadership in the church, but I did see a lot of women serving. And so then when I ended up on staff at a local congregation, one of the things that I was blessed to be able to do was to start an after-school program that was fueled by the local church, volunteers, funds to make the program happen. And we partnered with a Decatur Public School, and that program is still going today. So it's been going for, oh goodness, probably close to around 15 years now. It's been going on for a long time. But anyway, yeah, it was a great experience that really got me into ministry. So I started out in children's ministry, which was a great fit. You know, I had been elementary school teacher, so elementary ministry just really fit. Then I found myself in leadership, leading the whole family ministry team. And then I tend to be a fixer. I like to see what's working well. I like to see where things can be improved. And that just tends to be where I'm kind of put to help things get better. And I enjoy that. So that happened on the church staff as well. I was able to try a lot of different ministry areas and lead a lot of different teams. And then I ended up leaving that position. And then I found my way to GCU. And it has been just an amazing journey and a huge blessing. And I can't imagine doing anything else right now, because what I'm doing now really is a combination of education as well as ministry. It took me a while to kind of see the ministry part of it, and I would guess I would say kind of even accept that, because I kind of had I guess I would say a narrow view of what ministry meant, but I have found it to be a great field of ministry work. And
I want to come back to that, and I want to talk a little bit more about GCU in a little bit, but you've said a couple of things I want to unpack. One, leadership is service. You know, I think some of the best leaders that I have been servant leaders, and they have led with that servant's heart. And I absolutely see that in you. You have such great skills. And I know your time as a parent at McGoy, you did a lot of things for us in the volunteer capacity.
Yeah.
I remember your organizational skills and your leadership skills, and I can only imagine that you are an amazing leader at GCU. But the other thing that you said, Lori, is women in leadership. And you're absolutely right. For some reason, we have an industry, education as an industry has probably 90% of our teachers are women, but yet when we get to superintendency, we're in the minority by far.
Oh, by far. Absolutely.
When you look at the statistics, and I don't have them right here with me, but it's striking the differences that you see, and it's difficult. And I think that women have such strong emotional intelligence that they make great superintendents, which I might be biased since I am a female superintendent. But it's difficult to get to that point in education. And at Grand Canyon University, as you are working with these individuals going into the teaching field and the leadership field, is there anything that GCU can provide for these individuals to provide them with that confidence or that efficacy, so that they know that they're leaders all along the way and they can do whatever it is that they put their minds to?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I would say I believe that one of the things that sets our university apart, particularly for our online students. So, for those of you who aren't aware, Grand Canyon University is an actual campus located in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's been there since 1949. So, we've been around for a really long time. So, our ground campus has like 26,000 students that are, I would say traditional students. They come and they live on campus and they have the campus life experience. But as a strategic decision on the leadership part of GCU, well before COVID, I mean, like probably mid 2000s to maybe 2015, something like that, they made a strategic decision to have an online presence, particularly for working adults, because they were very passionate about helping people really achieve their dreams of completing a college degree or moving up in their career, knowing that the vast majority of adults do not have the luxury of quitting their jobs and going back to school. It's just, we just can't do that. And so it was a strategic decision to build programming that people could do while they were working, while they had families, while they had outside obligations, and get those degree programs. So with that, we have a very strong support system for our online students, and it starts out with our counselors. So we have people all across the country, and we are in specific territories where we serve our online students who live there. So, I mean, we literally sit, across the table at Starbucks with them and talk with them about what they want to do, what is their goal, and then help walk them through the enrollment process. But it doesn't stop there. For a lot of institutions, you kind of talk to an enrollment counselor, and then they send you to financial aid, and then they send you to somebody else for advising, and then they send you there's a lot of different places that you have to go. And I would say we're unique in that we provide counselors for you where you are. And that we're trained to help you through every step of the process. And then once you get started, we actually stay engaged with you. So I would say that is a really strong component of how we support our students, helping them get through, this commitment of time and money in order to get that degree, and supporting them in that journey. But then outside of that, if you're not a student, we also have the opportunity to help support people that are in leadership positions in HR, special ed directors, principals, through the many resources that we have. And we do a lot of PD across a wide range of topics. And there is a lot of leadership information and PD that's available for them. We also host, and this is free. It's an online collaborative group specifically for principals. So that's kind of a nice way to make connections with other people who are doing what you're doing. And of course, there are women involved in that, which I think is really important. And then, of course, at the superintendent level, we also work with them as well and have resources and things available. So I would say whatever type of leadership journey you are on, we strive to support you in that and point you to resources that we have available. So I feel like that's important for me personally, as well as it is professionally.
Yeah. And recently I had the opportunity to go out to Arizona and meet GCU. It was completely sponsored by Grand Canyon University. They paid for the entire trip for me to go. And so I saw all that you are talking about firsthand. And the cool thing about that, Lori, is that in addition to the professional development, to the trips that they sponsor, they also work hard to put together live lessons for teachers.
Yes.
The live lesson piece, I immediately after my trip sent an email to my staff letting them know that that's available because, we all have the same difficulty with time. There's 24 hours in the day. And so time is something that is not renewable. And this gives teachers the opportunity to use that as kind of a gift, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So to piggyback on that, I have to tell you about a school district that I was blessed to partner with. It's a small rural school district, and so I'm sure maybe a lot of your listeners can relate to that. I had a science teacher that signed up to do a live lesson. And so because I had a close partnership with that school district, I went on that day and I helped to bring in some supplies and things. And so GCU sends everything that you need for that live lesson. So it's nothing out of pocket for you. We don't want it to be. So we send everything, and then we signed on, and a student from GCU taught the course. A very well-qualified, well-trained student taught the course. And so these high school students got to interact with somebody who's currently in college. And this student talked a little bit about their experience and kind of what campus was like and that kind of thing. So it really helped the students get just a different idea about what college could be like and what might happen at college. And then by the same token, they were being led by somebody who wasn't a whole lot older than them. So they were very engaged. It was a hands-on activity. The teacher loved it. And her comment to me after the fact was, this was so great because I'm the science teacher and I don't have a budget for science material. She didn't have the money to really do a lot of experiments and things. And so her comment was, I'm definitely going to sign up for more of these. And I was very humbled by that because I know she's not the only one. And she has a great school district. It's not that they don't want her to have those things.
Right.
It's that money is just really tight in that district. So this is basically, I would say it's like a free gift. It allows you to expose your kids to all different kinds of things. I mean, our live lessons are all over the place, and they're hands-on. If there are supplies that are needed, like I said, we ship them to you after you get done with everything. The things that we need back, you ship them back to us at no cost. The return label is included. So it's just a way, honestly, I feel like it's a way for us to be a blessing to teachers and to school districts that could use a little blessing. So, yeah.
And it gives those students in settings where maybe they've never left their hometown or they've never thought that I could go to college or I could do this.
Absolutely.
They've given them a different experience and maybe a different perspective on that. And hopefully opens up their world a little bit too, to see themselves in that student doing that live lesson and seeing that it is a possibility for them as well.
Absolutely.
So lots of resources at Grand Canyon University. And when I went to visit, the thing that struck me, I am huge on leading with hope, obviously, which is why I started this podcast.
Right.
But hope is a science. And there is research that shows that our brain is activated when we are engaged in high hope environments, when we see people who are executing that optimistic outlook. And that's exactly what I felt at Grand Canyon University. I felt a high hope environment where anything's possible.
Yes, I would agree with you on that. I have to just kind of relate a story that happened very soon after I started with Grand Canyon University. I went on a Meet GCU tour, just like you're speaking of. So we, as counselors, get to go whenever somebody that we've invited takes us up on the offer to go. So we get to go and kind of just host alongside them and be part of that experience. So the cool thing of it is that when I got to go on this trip, it was particularly focused on the state of Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a group of special educators that have been working very, very hard to increase the number of school psychologists available in the state of Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Most of your listening audience are probably going to be aware that there is a terrible shortage of school psychologists. And part of the problem is institutions that have those programs really are limited on how many applicants they accept into the program. So there is a very small group of school psychologists graduating every year, and there's not enough to fill the need, because by Illinois state law, there are some things that only a school psychologist can do.
Mm-hmm.
So by law, these school districts have to have somebody in that position to take care of the things that need to be done. And it's a huge problem. And so this group from Illinois came, and we actually got to sit down with the president of GCU, Brian Mueller,
Mm-hmm.
and they just talked to him about what they were experiencing, what the numbers were saying, and what the problem was. And in that meeting, Brian Mueller says, "Well, this sounds like a problem we could fix." There were some GCU people in that room as well. And so he was like, okay, you do this, you work on this, you do that, and let's see what we can come up with. So it has taken a couple of years since that initial meeting, but they immediately did an efficacy study to see, is this really doable? And they found exactly what Illinois was saying. This is not just an Illinois problem. This is a national problem.
Yep.
And it had to go through several different steps. Of course, the program had to be approved by the Department of Education. So it's taken a while to get everything online, but I know already they are hiring people to be part of that program and to lead that program at GCU. So once they get the staff going, they open it up on campus, it's going to be online. So we will be able to offer that as an online program for school staff that want to become school psychologists and help meet that need. So that's an example of what I would say I have experienced from the inside watching GCU and how they work. I would say, even though it's a big institution, it's very nimble and it's very reactive to what the culture needs and what the community needs that we are serving, not only locally in Arizona, but literally all across the U.S.
Yeah. And that is the exact reason that I went to GCU for that visit. I'm looking for ways to retain and recruit staff. We're going to have a number of retirements in Illinois, just talking about teachers, not even talking about school counselors and school social workers and school psychologists and speech pathologists. There's such a need across the board and staff shortages. And I really do see ways that GCU can come alongside and partner with school districts, especially us among the school districts that are very small and we don't have a lot of resources. Partnering with GCU can provide additional options that didn't exist previously. And so I'm very excited to continue with this partnership. My counselor in this area, her name is Betsy Hildebrand, and she is an alumni of our school district. And now she has a child who's in kindergarten. So I know that she is definitely dedicated to this school district, and this partnership means an extra lot to her, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I would say that's kind of the beauty of our system. We have counselors in the communities where we live, and we want our communities to do well. And we have a dearth of resources at our disposal to bring alongside and help school districts. And here's the thing. You were speaking about a partnership. Our partnerships are free. Our partnerships are non-exclusive, because we understand we don't have all the answers, but we can maybe give you some of the answers. And we don't want to get in the way of any other partnerships that you already have. We just want to be another resource for people. So I always like the principals and the superintendents that I'm working with to know that wherever you are located, chances are you have either a community college or a four-year institution, probably pretty close. And we hope that you have a great working relationship with them. And we don't want to undermine that in any way, but we can provide some things that maybe they can't. And
Right.
so that's our goal, to find out where are the gaps, how can we help? And almost all of our resources are free or very low cost.
Yeah.
Because it really is about serving the communities where we are.
Absolutely. And like I said before, Grand Canyon University is a great resource. So get on social media and check it out. They do a lot of social media marketing, and
We do.
you can see programs like paraprofessional to teacher programs and the different professional development opportunities that Lori has spoken about. So I want to encourage you to get on social media and check out Grand Canyon University today.
Absolutely.
So Lori, as we go into the next question,
Yes.
Lead with Hope is a system of self-efficacy. H stands for habits, O for optimistic outlook, P for passion, purpose, and perseverance, and E stands for excellence. So I am curious, which one resonates most with you and why?
I would say I think that probably the one that people would point out the most for me would be the optimism one. And I would say that is probably true. I do tend to be very optimistic. I would say it's even more than that. I think I'm a very joyful person, and I think I express that a lot. It's not that I don't see issues or problems. I definitely do, but I just feel like there is so much hardship and difficulty that we encounter all the time. And I feel like if I can be the person that can give you a smile to tell you thank you, if I can bring pizza to your staff and brighten their Wednesday, that's what I want to do. I want them to know that I appreciate them. No matter what the situation is, I do believe there is always hope, and that I think it is important to see what is going right, what is well, to find the positive in the situation and focus on that more than what the problem or the issue is, or what the negative piece is. I think those things have to be addressed. But I think that I have just found that it's more healthy for my mental health and just for my soul to be to find the joy in the situation.
Absolutely. And you've really pointed at the fact that it starts with mindset. Optimism starts with mindset. And if we have that positive, optimistic mindset, it just changes everything about our day, the way we interact with people, the energy we bring to the room.
Absolutely.
It's powerful.
Yes, it is. And it's contagious.
Yes.
The negative is contagious too. So I want to be more on, I want to spread the joy. I want to spread the smile. I want to spread we can do this. I just think that's much more motivating.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I think that in education, in public education, I have said before, we need hope now more than ever.
Oh, yes.
The pandemic really soured people towards education. When it first started, in March of 2020, I was still at McGoy, and I remember getting, that briefing from the governor sitting at my desk. And initially, educators were heralded as heroes because they jumped into action and they did what they always do. They made a way.
Yes.
But as it unfolded, they were put under a microscope and they were scrutinized to the level that we really haven't overcome yet. We haven't really recovered from that yet. And even now, that's some of the complaints that I hear from my staff. It's the way that people talk to them. It's the way that they are viewed in the public eye. And they're not prepared for that in college. They're not prepared for that sometimes in life. And they don't know how to establish those healthy boundaries and say to those people that are probably not healthy, and not operating in a good place, that I respect myself enough to say to you, I'm not going to allow you to speak to me that way. When you're calm and you can come back and speak to me in a respectful way, we can continue this conversation.
Right.
But those are soft skills, life skills that I think that our new teachers need coming out of college.
Yeah, I would agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as far as adversity, you talked a little bit about that. Is there an adversity that kind of placed you where you're at, you think?
Oh, definitely. 100%. So, I had been at my previous position in a ministry position, one church the whole time for almost 17 years. I mean, just shy of 17 years. I loved it there. I think I was good at what I did. I got to do a lot of different things. And I would say I really grew as a leader during those years. And I'm very thankful for those years. But the ending was very difficult. It was very, I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't see it coming, but it became very clear that I needed to move away. I needed to just leave. And I did not want to do that because if anyone's been in ministry who's listening, you understand that when you're in ministry, your job, where you worship, your friends, it's all wrapped up into one place, one group of people. And so when there's a departure, it is devastating. It is devastating because I lost who I thought I was. I lost my place of worship, and I lost a lot of relationships. And I did not see that coming. So it was very painful. And it came on the tail end of the pandemic. So you add all of that up together, and it was just, it was a horrible time in my life. It really was. It just was a really dark time, very difficult time. And I found my way to GCU. I didn't see that coming, but I don't believe in circumstance or a coincidence. So I know God had that plan for me. And he has been so faithful to me in restoring and even giving me way more than what I had before and what I even thought could be. I definitely feel like my background in education is a huge help to me in what I'm doing now. Just because of the skill set that good teachers have to have, just in being organized, being able to communicate well, dealing with adults, and being flexible. All of those things I think are just keys. Being organized. All of those are great tools. No matter where you go after teaching, they just are very marketable skills. So I brought that with me, and that has really helped. And then I really have seen my job as a ministry, serving people who want to make a change in life, finding out how to help them best, making those great relationships with leadership. And I would even say a lot of them have become my friends. Just because, going back to school, it's a big decision. It's a big life change. Right. And so being a part of that in someone's life has been wonderful. So I definitely, I would say that God definitely took this very difficult circumstance in life that I didn't see coming, but he knew was coming. And he has just given me way more than I could ever ask for or that I ever imagined. And I'm very thankful for that. I think he's blessed me in a lot of ways with GCU. I love it that it is a faith-based organization, but it's very, I would say it's very open in the sense that it's always underlying everything, but it's not forced on anybody. Kind of like our chapel, the students that are on campus and even our online students can watch chapel, but it's not mandatory. But every week there's 6,000 to 7,000 kids in the basketball arena worshiping and hearing a message from a local pastor. So I love that. I love that it's there for you if you want to partake, and it underlies everything that happens, but it's up to you to decide to be a part of that or not. So anyway, yeah, I would say
Yeah.
that that's been adversity that has been hard to overcome, but man, once you get through to the other side, it's a sweet place.
Nice. Well, and you definitely do have that transferable skill of building relationships. That is definitely one of your strengths. And I can say that from
Yeah.
firsthand knowledge. And I think that the people that have had the pleasure of working with you would agree with me. But in saying
Well,
that, people in the world today are looking for that sense of belonging. They want to feel like they fit somewhere, they belong somewhere, and that's important. And I think that Grand Canyon University can help them to to have that,
yeah.
whether they're a student just coming out of high school, or even a student who's going back to school,
Hmm.
because everybody's so welcoming and so friendly, and they check on you and
Hmm.
check in on you. And so it truly is a wonderful place. And they're fortunate to have you in a leadership
Oh,
position.
thank you so much. I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you.
Oh, you're amazing. I only have positive things to say about you.
Well, thank you.
But thinking about a passion project that you are excited about, and this could be something that you're doing with GCU or something
Yeah.
you're doing solo. What are you
Yeah.
doing that's fueling your passion right now?
So I have to tell you about a project that I got to be a part of that has just been amazing. Um, while I was still university development counselor, one of the school districts that I worked with was Springfield Public School District 186,
Mhm.
and I just built some amazing relationships there. And I just have a lot of amazing friends over there and people in leadership that I think very highly of. And I was able to do a lot of really great things alongside them just because they were open to the partnership and seeing how GCU could help them. So, one of the things I got to be a part of was their pipeline project in order to really help get teachers, kind of in the pipeline and working towards getting their initial teacher licensure. Um, and one of the people that I got to work with was Jamar Scott, Dr. Jamar Scott, and his pipeline project was specifically towards helping increase the level of minority teachers in the district. That district is a large district. It's one of probably is the biggest one that I got to partner with. And they have a large minority population of students. But if you look at the teaching staff, principals, um, there's not a lot of diversity there. There's some, absolutely, but there's not a lot. And so I got to work alongside Jamar to help people that either had tried college and it just didn't work for them, or it was always their dream to go to college and they never had the opportunity. But they had been involved in the school and drawn to working with kids and it loved working with kids. So I got to work with people that were in security, people that were paraprofessionals, people that were in the front office, everywhere, who actually wanted to become teachers. And we helped them through that process, through that pipeline, start working towards becoming licensed educators. So I would say that has to be one of the most amazing projects that I have ever gotten to be a part of, because we were really helping impact people's lives and then impacting the students that are going to be in their classrooms. And I just met some of the most amazing people with amazing stories and dreams of becoming a teacher. And I got to be part of that story and part of that process and helping getting them through and getting their licensure. So that was one of the most amazing processes I've been a part of. So it was really a cool one.
It would be a very cool experience to be able to be in that position where you are coming in, you're coming alongside them, you're providing resources for them to truly make their dreams come true.
Absolutely. It
Yeah,
really was. Yes.
that is so powerful. I
Yes.
appreciate you sharing that
Yeah,
story.
absolutely.
Now, as we are wrapping up,
Mhm.
there's going to be people that want to get in contact with you. There's going to be people wanting to learn more about Grand Canyon University. Yeah. So can you tell us, how can they get in contact with you after this episode?
Yeah. So I would say probably the best way is to either text me, call me, or email me. And you can also find me on my LinkedIn page. So my email is my name, Lori, Lori, Putnam, Putnam, at gcu.edu. So that's Lori.Putnam at gcu.edu. You can also text me or call me at 217-313-3439. And you can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn just under Lori Putnam. So any of those ways are easy ways to get in touch with me. And what I can do is kind of find out what you're interested in. And then I can make sure that we make a connection with you and your local counselor. And then a manager just like me. There are 3 of us in the state of Illinois that oversee teams, 3 different teams that serve Northern Illinois, Chicagoland area, and Southern Illinois. So we've got the whole state covered.
Nice. Very nice. And Lori, I want to leave with this quote. Good friends are like stars. You can't always see them, but they are always there. And
I love it.
The best. So thank you for coming on today.
My pleasure.
This was so much fun. It was so good to see you and to connect with you. And you're doing great things at GCU. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
I hope so. Thanks again.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. Explore more podcasts at teachbetter.com/podcasts, and we'll see you at the next episode.